Hey, it's me, Bobbert, and this my a little video talking about the Nintendo Switch gaming lineup for 2017, and to defend just a little bit of the Nintendo launch titles. Let's start with the other first to get that out of the way quickly. Now, many people are pretty much disappointed. There's some fans that are satisfied with what they're getting before E3 2017 and later on. But there are those who feel like the gaming lineup for Nintendo Switch is pretty short and unimpressed, which, to be fair, I don't blame them. I'm kind of in that camp as well, but at the same time, I feel like people are being too harsh considering what games are available, and I can understand why the party won't, fully support Nintendo right away, especially with well, the Wii U situation. And even though the Wii was a pretty popular console, it was underperformed, and it was hard to make, multi-platform games for that console. So I can't really entirely blame the party, but anyways, here's my defense for the Nintendo Switch launch lineup. This is the first time, at least in the home console, that Nintendo ever release a console in March. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Usually Nintendo released a new console in November, during the holiday months, and all the third party announced their big titles during that time, or have their big titles available during that time. They usually announce it at E3 2017 or a little bit early on. Well, usually games in the spring and maybe summer in the summer are, you know, kind of slow. I'm not saying this like absolutely nothing, but usually game companies would like to save their best title for, October, November, December, during the holidays. And it wouldn't be so. That's why I wasn't too surprised that the Nintendo Switch lineup is uh, kind of weak. I am satisfied with what they're giving us, which you can see right here on the screen. And I guess, after E3 2017, I give my complete thoughts of all the games that's coming out for the Nintendo Switch. But until then, I feel like I got to give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe I end up eating my own words, later on, throughout 2017. But all I'm just saying is that uh, I'm just gonna wait to see what Nintendo and the third party in general have to offer, later on in this Nintendo Switch life cycle. It's one thing to not be interested in what you like so far that the Nintendo Switch has to offer, but I think it's pretty soon to call Nintendo doom. Like people do, with every time Nintendo has like a bad period. But anyways, let's get on to the Nintendo Switch lineup. These are all games that is scheduled for 2017. I'm gonna go in order of release date, at least according to this little chart you see here on the screen. Now, first is of course Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, which definitely a game that I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered a console and that game as well. So it's really no surprise that any third party during that time don't want to release their best game, you know, during that time because people are just going to go to Zelda. Uh, with that being said, uh, there's not really much going on, later on during that month, as you can see here. But, let's go down to complete list. But next is One to Switch is, well, it's a casual game that seems like pretty fun to play with a group of friends, but other than that, it's nothing I'm interested in. Now, Super Bomberman, or I'm not the most hardcore fan of Bomberman in general, excuse me, but if I do have to pick a second game from this lineup, it definitely had to be the Bomberman game. It looks pretty fun. It looks pretty good, even though it kind of does look like a bit of a 3DS game. I wouldn't be surprised if this was originally the canceled 3DS game, or at the very least took some elements from that canceled game. Next is Guardian Imaginator, which I believe came out for PS4 and Xbox One in 2016. Maybe Wii U. I don't keep up with the Skyrim series. And Justice 2017, which I recently found out there was a Wii version of that game. It's like I didn't know they're still making Wii games. I'm sure there's also a Wii U game. It'd be pretty weird if there's a Wii game but not a Wii U game. But so far, the games coming out for March 3rd is pretty decent. I mean, all you just need is Zelda and, it will help sell console. But let's look at the games that's coming out in March. Snipper Crypts, I'm assuming it's another one of those casual games. Haven't seen any gameplays for it. Again, not something that immediately catches my attention. But next is Fast League Racing. I guess this series is pretty popular. Well, I'm assuming so because I believe this is like the third installment of this game. And it's pretty much like FCOX with some different elements. And all I can say is like Nintendo should just let the developers, Shannon, if I'm pronouncing that right, to just make an F-Zero game. I mean, might as well. They're pretty much making one already, so why not just make it like an official game in the series? Next is I Am Sentumo or Sentune. I need to improve my handwriting, sorry, but again, another game that I don't have too much information on. And Has Been Heroes, I have seen some gameplay of that. It's pretty much like a 2D beat 'em up. Looks pretty fun. Maybe I can get that in the future. Now here's where things starts to look pretty sparse in areas. And the only game announced for April is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is the port of the Nintendo Wii U game with some added characters and some modes, and you're able to hold 2 items now. I'm sure it's going to sell well, but I'm probably not going to get that game, at least not right away. I'm probably just going to focus on the game that I'm probably going to get, which is Zelda, Bomberman, maybe the Fast League Racing, which is, well, it looks like also a good racing game. I won't say better than Mario Kart 8, but I'd rather stick with something new than any of the ports. Now, spring 2017, I'm pretty sure some of these may be available in April, May, probably early June. That's at least my assumptions, but the titles announced for that is ARMS, which could be, it has the potential to be the next Splatoon, as in the surprise set that people would catch on to. The only problem is that it's not immediately going to have an online mode right away. They don't on it will. Once it gets that, hopefully it's not too late. I think the game would catch on a lot better, especially if it's the price has been reduced, especially during the Black Friday sale. I could see that game, flying off the shelf during that time, but I guess as of right now that ARMS just seems like a game that's going to get ignored for a while. At least that's my assumptions. Next is Puyo Puyo Tetris. It's just a puzzle game I both love. If you play Dr. Robotnik, Mean Bean Machine, or Kirby Avernus, that's Puyo Puyo in a nutshell, and Tetris, everybody knows that. this seems like a game that fits better in a mobile phone app rather than a home console, even though you can also take it on the go. It's again another one of those games that I'll probably pick up later on. Ryan and Discursive 5, I believe those are both RPGs. Well, I know this Scale 5 is. I believe both of them are ports from other consoles. I going to need to look into that more often. Uh, Especially the Disguise 5 series, I heard good things about that. Sonic Mania, I'm definitely going to get. I believe that's coming out in May or June, maybe July. Uh, but anyways, it's 2D Sonic with a special twist, some old stages, some new. And the last one for spring 2017 is Lego City Undercover. Is that the port of the Wii U game that came out uh, as a launch title? Uh, I don't keep up with the Lego City series or any Lego games in general, though I am kind of interested in Lego Dimensions just because it has Sonic in it. But anyways, from March through spring, it looks somewhat decent. I mean, there's definitely some games from at least from each month that I can get or that I'm interested in, like pretty much Sonic, Fast League Racing, uh, even ARMS to a certain extent. But here's where things get a little troublesome and sparse here. This is Summer, Fall, and Holiday. These are games that are already announced. Now, I'm sure that more games going to be announced by Nintendo and third-party companies themselves for the Switch, or especially Nintendo. And to be fair, there's also game that's scheduled for 2017, but no exact release date. So some of these could be come out in the summer. But again, like only these games confirmed for the summer, fall, and holiday. Kind of, this is just one of each. Mind you, as you can see here, it looks kind of bad on paper, but to be fair, it's probably going to look a lot better once we get like an actual release date. But for the summer, it's Splatoon 2. That thing's definitely going to sell like that game definitely going to sell like hotcake. Like especially in Japan, in America and Europe, I'm sure it's going to do well. I'm not sure it's going to do as well as the first game. I know there's some people who were disappointed in the first game, even with all the updates. But it's still, a surprise hit, and it's a good idea for Nintendo to have that game available this year. In the fall is Skyrim, which is a 6-year-old game with maybe some added bells and whistles and upgrading graphics. It just looks nice on that console. That's like another series that I need to get into. It's, I guess, people who are Venezuela will most likely get Skyrim if they haven't got Skyrim, back then, or just, want another version of Skyrim. And for the holiday release is Super Mario Odyssey, which I could see that game easily getting a sequel in 2019. And I'm not sure what the entire story is. It's like when Mario travels the world. I'm not sure if it's like different dimensions or different planets. But I have like an idea for like a Super Mario Odyssey 2, and that's pretty much take the same concept, but pretty much instead of going to some random worlds, you're going to other Nintendo worlds, like maybe it does on the Zelda stage, Donkey Kong stage, Kirby stage, etc. But I'm getting too ahead of myself. That's probably another video for another time. Now, for the 2017 games, I could picture some of these being pushed back to 2018. Like this first one is Xenoblade 2. Like if this game came out in 2017, I'd be very surprised because RPGs usually takes a lot longer to develop than any other game. But it just Xenoblade 2 do come out in 2017. It's most likely going to be in October or December, like a month before or after Super Mario Odyssey. And if that game come out this year, then and if the rumor Pokemon game is true, they could just save the Pokemon game for 2018 easily. Next is Rayman Legend definitive version. I'm not sure what makes it more definitive, but it's a port of the Wii U game, which also came out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The new NBA 2K18 game, Steep, which is, I believe, is a snowboarding game. That seems like a bit of fun. Well, for those who enjoy those sports games. For me, I don't know. Maybe there's FIFA by support by EA. I wouldn't be surprised if EA completely abandons the Nintendo Switch like they did with the Wii U. There's like I believe like an Ultra Street Fighter 2, which is either a remake or an update. Like I'm sure this game kind of exists on other platforms, which is pretty much Street Fighter 2, but you could play online against other people. I remember seeing Mortal Kombat do the same thing on the 360 or PlayStation 3, with taking the same game but compete against other people online. I'm assuming Street Fighter 2 did the same thing, probably on those same consoles as well. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. There's two Minecraft games coming out that year, which is just Minecraft by itself and Minecraft Story Mode. Don't really care about Minecraft in general, but it's something that kids enjoy, or people of our ages really. It's just not sure if that's gonna do any good for the Switch. Siberia Dream, that's a series that I am not familiar with, so I apologize for not doing any research on that. And let's see, two more games, which is the new Sonic game for called Project 2017. Still doesn't have an official title, but I'm sure that's going to be coming out right around the same time Super Mario Odyssey will come out. I would recommend maybe a couple of weeks before Super Mario Odyssey. But anyways, but if that was an exclusive title, then I think that would make, at least for the younger audience, that Nintendo would catch them is, guaranteed. Or even just the old school audience in general. But Project Sonic 2017 is coming out on every other console, which is still ain't a bad thing. I'm definitely going to get the Nintendo Switch version. And some kind of farming simulator game that doesn't have an official title. Not entirely sure, but I'm assuming that's Harvest Moon. I mean, this is just a complete guess out of nowhere because that's like the only farming game like I know of. But either way, that's all the games. Although there's not many titles, announced for us this moment, I'm still excited for a lot of the games that's coming out. It's definitely could be better. It could be better, once E3 2017, happens. But I think people should at least wait till then before giving the full judgment on the Nintendo Switch, lineup for this year. Anyway, this is me, Bobbert, and I catch you guys later.